So, fate of the universe on the line. One shot. I want Iguodala. An iconic line from an iconic analyst. Great boxing brain. Oh man, Max Kellerman. I love Max Kellerman in a way because he does so much like verbal gymnastics, and all he actually says is whoever scores the most points will win. I love Max Kellerman. I love watching him just to see how many ridiculous statements he can make without actually saying anything. Like, he will legitimately say, the team with the best player will win game 7 and the best player is X, so they're going to win game 7. And if they lose game 7, he goes, well, I was right because he wasn't the best player. This other guy is the best player and his team won game 7. Like, Max Kellerman, man, I love watching him to see how many loops or how many hoops he can jump through to say nothing. But at the end of the day, his most iconic quote is still, fate of the universe on the line, I want Iguodala. And speaking of Andre Iguodala, we got some interesting news about him. But first, two other NBA stories. Firstly, the Kings apparently want siakam. Who do they have? Who can they give up for siakam? Like, I don't get this one. Who can they give up for siakam? Like, are the Raptors going to really want Tyrese Halliburton over Pascal Siakam? I don't think so. Siakam, yeah, he kind of regressed. But, I mean, Siakam was looking like he was an all-star starter at 1 year. Are they they're not going to give up, maybe the Kings give up one of their 18 point guards. Maybe, just maybe, but who do they have? No, who wants Bagley at this stage in his career? Bagley could be good, man. I thought Bagley had the highest potential in the 2018 NBA draft. And man, I was the highest on Luka. I thought Luka was going to be an all-star as a rookie. But man, from watching Bagley and Duke, I thought he had the highest potential. But, the Kings have nobody. This is ridiculous. The Kings have an interest in trading for Pascal Siakam. I assume, I'm trying to think of a team that doesn't have any assets. I assume they also maybe have an interest in trading for Damian Lillard. Maybe if they're giving him up for cents on the dollar, but this isn't happening. This is just a funny story I read. I think the replies are kind of the same. Who are you going to offer us? Tyrese Halliburton, Marvin Bagley, and a pick or two. Slap him, Buddy Hield. I mean, maybe. That's a dumb trade for Sacramento, trading half a roster for Siakam, but it is what it is. And then we've got this one here. Jimmer Fredette added to the Summer League roster. So we've got every single year, we've got Jimmer Fredette making an NBA Summer League or G League roster. He's going to ball out in the Summer League. If he gets minutes, he's going to ball out in the Summer League. Because Jimmer Fredette is, like, it's hard to describe. Basically, there are not many guys in the world better at scoring points in lower level settings, not low level settings, because again, the Chinese league is still an incredible level of basketball. And I can guarantee you that if this video is viewed by 5,000 people, 4,999 of them would not even come close to playing at that level, myself included. But he was incredible in college. Anytime he's gone to like the Chinese league or anything, he's been exceptional. But there is, like, from what I've read about Jimmer Fredette, he literally can't be a role player. Like, he doesn't know what to do when he doesn't have the ball in his hands all the time. And it's the reason why he looks so good in the G League, why he looks so good in China. And he's better in China, for example, than guys that maybe are playing minutes in the NBA, but is never going to get a look in. Because apparently he's apparently one of the most uncoachable players in the league. That, like, he has it in his head that he's a star and he does not know what to do if he's not the star. So Lowy was saying, how is Redick getting 20 million and Jimmer Fredette's not? Because of that reason. Like, Jimmer can't play off the ball. Jimmer can't run around and hit near 50 or 45%, 40+% from 3 off the catch. That's just not Jimmer. And just because he had a great year in college 10 years ago does not mean he's an NBA player. Just because he scored a lot of points in China does not mean he's an NBA player. You know who else balled out in China? Stephon Marbury. And if you remember his last couple of years in the NBA, they weren't pretty. Other guys that balled out in China, again, there's the Michael Beasley effect. If Michael Beasley's your first option, he can put up 20 plus points a game. Throughout his whole career, he's been able to put up 20 plus points a game as a first option. There are games when the Miami Heat used to rest LeBron James and he would somehow come in with like 20 points. But then when the going got tough, he never saw the floor. Because Michael Beasley just could score. He could do nothing else, but he could score. And that's not enough to get on the floor for a good team. It's not on the floor. It's not good enough to get on the floor for any team, especially when you're Jimmer's age. Maybe when you're like 20, they're like, okay, maybe we can turn him into something. But nah, Jimmer's there in Summer League. He's gonna ball out in Summer League. He's gonna get some sort of a short-term contract because people just to maybe generate some hype for a business perspective. But everyone knows he just can't fit into a team anymore, and that's the problem with Jimmer. But now, Andre Iguodala. He's narrowed his choices to the Nets, the Warriors, and the Lakers. So Iggy's joining a super team. Andre Iguodala is out here joining a super team, lads. And that's going to be a very, very interesting one. Because Iggy's been good. He has been good the last couple of years. Ever since he forced his way out of Memphis, I think he's been good. Like, I don't think he's had too bad a year. Like, again, just looking at his basketball reference again, you can't judge everything by stats. The guy still played 21 minutes per game for a Miami Heat team. Played 21 minutes a game. Yeah, he didn't shoot particularly well, but he's still 4.5 points a game. He can still do something. Like, it may not look like it's the greatest, but if he's the ninth man, plays some defense, hits the occasional open shot. And again, as we all know, Fader Universe on the line. I want Iguodala. He's getting clutch situations. He was solid in the playoffs. I actually wonder what his per game numbers were when Miami made the finals, because he actually was pretty good. So, Miami 2020, he averaged. Where's points? Points is here. He only averaged like 3.6 points per game, which is a bit of a surprise. 3.2 points per game in the finals. Man, I felt like Iggy played well for that Miami Heat team. Either way, though, he's a savvy veteran. He's a savvy veteran that is going to help whatever team he signs for. If I'm him, I'm signing for Brooklyn. First of all, I think Brooklyn's where he fits best. Because, again, he's going to play with some heart. He's going to be a savvy veteran leader. He'll hit the occasional shot. He'll play not quite 2015 level defense, but he'll play some defense. No question about it. Iguodala will play some defense for a team that is kind of lacking defense. And the Lakers, the Lakers don't need a 37-year-old. Just straight up, the Lakers do not need 37-year-old Andre Iguodala. They don't need to get older. Like, they're already old. They don't need to get older. And I know people are going to be like, oh, it's going to be a super team with Andre Iguodala in LA. Maybe. But, like, it's the biggest, like, chemistry experiment I've ever seen in terms of fit. Whereas with Brooklyn, we know Brooklyn fit. We know the Brooklyn Nets fit. Who knows? Aldridge might end up going back to Brooklyn. You got Blake still there. You got the big three. Yeah, they lost Dinwiddie. Dinwiddie didn't play last year. You've got Patty Mills. Man, Iguodala playing as the 8th, 9th man, playing 15 minutes a game in the playoffs, hitting the occasional shot, maybe playing a bit of that Bruce Brown role as a small ball kind of 4 or 5. Because again, he did play pretty much as a small ball 4 in those Hamptons 5 and det lineups in Golden State. So, man, is Iguodala what he was 2 years ago? No, definitely not. Is Iguodala what he was 10 years ago? Of course not. But he's good. Like, Iguodala right now is probably as good as David West was when he went to Golden State. Straight up. He's probably as good as David West was when he went to Golden State. However, Andre Iguodala, again, he's been there, he's done that. And the fact is there are a couple of options. He could go back to Golden State. And that would be very interesting. But I don't know why I have a feeling he's going to go. Because, like, they did trade him away. And they traded him to Memphis, which he didn't particularly like. So I don't see him really going back. I'd like him to go back. I think in terms of just seeing the band getting back together, I would love to see him go back to Golden State. That would be great, honestly. It would be really cool to see him back to Golden State. To see if they can run it back with him. The young guys, Draymond, Clay, Steph. If all those guys can somehow run it back and win a championship, that would be the best situation for Andre Iguodala's career. Like Iggy's career, he's probably a Hall of Famer. He made an All-Star team, won a couple of championships, won a Finals MVP. Maybe not. Probably a Hall of Famer, considering everyone gets into the Basketball Hall of Fame. And he's also won an Olympics, which does help for the resume. Hence why I always say Luis Scola is going to be a Hall of Famer. But I just think the Brooklyn Nets is the perfect spot for him. Like, in terms of if he wants to win a ring and he wants to play a role and a team where he really fits, I think the Brooklyn Nets is a no-brainer. As much as I would hate that because I'm a Miami Heat fan. I would honestly hate to see that. But, I don't think Iggy did too bad a job for us over the last 2 years. And, I like Iguodala, so I wouldn't mind seeing him. At this stage in the NBA, you can never complain about anyone stacking the deck anymore. You can never complain about anyone ring chasing because everyone does it. Everyone does it now. If you're over the age of 35, you're either going for a payday or a ring. And Iguodala's probably too old to get a payday, so why not get a ring? The only person, and I'm going to make an entire video on this, the only person that seemed to have strayed from this that was an elite player was Vince Carter, who decided he wanted to do the opposite, and he wanted to play till he's 43 and just try make the young players on these young teams better and better, which I actually think some people say they're holding it against Vince Carter's legacy. I think that's one of the greatest things he did in his career. But each to their own. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Andre Iguodala, where do you think he is going to go? Do you think the Kings are crazy for trading for Pascal Siakam? And do you think the Jimmer actually will play another game in the NBA? Because I don't. So that's the video. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.